The halls of the Nigerian Supreme Court echo with pronouncements of justice. We, the people, look to this institution as the ultimate guardian of our rights, the dispenser of fairness. But what happens when the scales of justice appear unbalanced? What happens when the court's own judgments seem to contradict its very purpose? This question, a whisper at first, is slowly growing louder, fueled by a string of controversial election rulings. The Nigerian Supreme Court is a place of immense power. It's the highest court in the land. Its decisions are final. They shape the destiny of our nation. And yet, a sense of unease lingers. Can we truly claim to have a just system when the guardians of justice seem to speak in different tongues on different occasions? The inconsistency, the stark contrast between its rulings on certain matters leaves us questioning.
Let us first look at a moment of hope, a case where the Supreme Court stood as a true defender of the people's will. The Local Government Autonomy case, a landmark judgment, showcased the court's progressive spirit. In a decisive move, the court affirmed the autonomy of local governments, freeing them from the clutches of overreaching state governments. This landmark ruling was hailed as a victory for grassroots democracy. It was a clear signal that the court would not tolerate any attempts to stifle the will of the people. Here was a court ready to stand up for the ordinary Nigerian, to ensure that power truly resided with the people. This judgment brought hope. It showed what the court could achieve when it acted with courage and clarity.
However, this hope, this faith in the judiciary, is constantly tested when we turn our attention to the court's handling of election petitions. Here, a different picture emerges. A stark contrast to the progressiveness displayed in the Local Government Autonomy case. A shadow of doubt is cast upon the court's commitment to justice when the intricacies of election petitions come into play. It is in these high-stakes cases, where political power hangs in the balance, that the inconsistencies become glaring. The court, once a beacon of hope, appears to adopt a more cautious, even conservative approach. This hesitancy to intervene, to right perceived wrongs, raises serious concerns about the court's commitment to upholding the sanctity of the ballot box.
Section 4. When justice sleeps. Specific election cases amplify these concerns. Cases where evidence, seemingly clear and compelling, was seemingly ignored. Cases where the voices of the people, their votes, seem to carry little weight. These instances, etched in the memory of our nation, erode public trust in the very institution tasked with upholding justice. One such case involved a gubernatorial election marred by allegations of widespread rigging and voter suppression. Witnesses came forward, their testimonies painting a grim picture of electoral malpractice. Yet, the court, citing procedural technicalities, upheld the victory of the incumbent. Such decisions, where justice appears to sleep, leave a bitter taste in the mouths of many Nigerians.
Section 5. The law's unkept promises. These perceived lapses in judgment are not mere procedural missteps. They represent a breach of fundamental human rights, rights enshrined in our Constitution and in international law. The right to free and fair elections, the very foundation of any democracy, is undermined when the judiciary, the supposed guarantor of these rights, fails to act decisively. Our Constitution, in eloquent terms, guarantees the right to vote, to choose our leaders. International human rights instruments, to which Nigeria is a signatory, echo this fundamental right. Yet these rights, enshrined in law, seem to hold little sway when they clash with the murky world of political power. This dissonance, this gap between the law's promise and its application, is a wound that continues to fester.
Section 6. A call for fairness. The Nigerian Supreme Court stands at a crossroads. Its legacy, its very legitimacy, hinges on its ability to dispense justice fairly and consistently. The discrepancies in its rulings, particularly in election-related cases, erode public trust and cast a long shadow over our democracy. What is needed is a return to the principles that underpinned the court's judgment in the Local Government Autonomy case. The court must demonstrate that it applies the law equally, regardless of the parties involved or the political stakes. We, the Nigerian people, yearn for a judiciary that acts as a true guardian of our rights, a judiciary that understands that justice delayed is often justice denied. The time for consistency, for fairness, is now.